Morena and kia ora. Welcome to my channel. This is Sew Knit Create Repeat, my place where I talk about all things crafty that I've been getting up to over the last month or few weeks, or however often I choose to record. My name is Carla. I'm coming to you from the east coast of the North Island of New Zealand, Aotearoa. And today is Sunday, the 23rd of July. So welcome all. No mai, hara mai. If you're new, I hope you stick around and have a look. And if you are returning, welcome my lovely friends. You really are special to me. So as you can see or hear, I'm a bit stuffed up. I have got a cold. I have got the man flu. Thanks to Evan, who had it during my school holidays, and I didn't think I'd catch it, but I may not have caught it off him, because when I went to work on Monday there were that many sick people there, and one lady proceeded to cough all over us during our morning tea break and then say, oh no, it's all right, I'm not contagious, and then went off work for the rest of the week. Next day, sore throat, yeah. So I'll cut that out. Yesterday, so if there's little edits, you'll know that I've just cut out a cough or a nose blowing session. So yesterday was Saturday and it was raining. We had another heavy rain warning Friday, Saturday. By the time I got home from work on Friday, the weather was nuts. It was like a storm. I just want to check that I'm recording. Yes, I am. I've done it a couple of times before. I just needed to make sure. So yeah, like I was saying yesterday, I chose to just stay on my chair in my jammies and just rest, because I knew that I have work this week and I don't want to be going to work feeling like crap. And I've taken enough time off this year with migraines and the like, so I really just needed to not be taking any time off. So anyway, we'll talk about the rest of that later. Today I've actually got a few things to show you, which goes to show that you can actually do quite a lot in 2 weeks. So I'm going to start off with my Lichen duster, which was partway through construction the last time I filmed, which was just over 2 weeks ago. And yeah, it's finished, and I've spent the week, I finished it last Sunday so that I was able to wear it to work. And I've worn it most days last week because it's just so comfortable. And I've had a lot of great feedback about it too. So the Lichen duster is, a pattern by Sew Liberated, and it is a duster, so you know you'd normally just wear it either wrapped like a dress or just as another piece for your wardrobe ensemble. But I've made it as an outerwear coat and using a wool, and I've lined it as well, which it's not typically lined. So I've lined it in this sort of periwinkle blue satin, which I purchased from Backstreet Bargains in Hamilton, and the wool is from Drapers. I don't even know where Drapers is, I should check. They're in New Zealand anyway, and they're a really awesome fabric store. They have good sales and really good quality products. So this is it here. It has a dropped back, and I've just I made the tie way too long, so I am going to have to trim it down. I've just been tucking it into my pockets and that's what it looks like there. I might do a twirl around later wearing it so that you can see what it looks like on. The next finished object is my St. Catherine's cardigan, which was designed by Davies. And I knitted this with my hand spun wrongly, so this is all from me, except obviously I didn't grow the fur. What can I say? I love the construction of this. When I first started knitting it, I thought it was going to take forever, and I didn't quite understand where I was, what part I was knitting properly, because you actually start from here around, and I was like, jeepers, that's wide, but I didn't realise that's actually taking you right to your elbow. So there's a lot of picking up stitches and what have you, but you know, sometimes when you knit a pattern and it says pick up X amount of stitches along this length and that, and then you really struggle to pick up as many as they say or as little as they say. But this was exact. I mean, I mark mine out with pins anyway, so I'll section it into halves, quarters, eighths, and then know that I have to maybe do 6 per section, and it's easier to figure out. But it was just, her numbers are great. The only thing I'd say about her patterns is that she kind of just divides them up into sections of back, sleeves, collar, and then there's a whole lot of instructions within those, and I prefer each step to be numbered, so I had to actually do that myself, just so that later on when I come back to the work after putting it down, I know where I'm at. But I love this. I wore it to work on Monday. I have got some B-roll somewhere from a reel I did for Instagram. Doesn't have buttons in the front because it's more like a little jacket that you can just clip. And I found this in I was looking through my jewellery box, and I found this, which is a, I think when I bought it, it was supposed to be for your hair, but there was no way it was going to fit my hair. And so it's like a little Celtic pin with a dragon's head, and it looks really nice. So that is this, and it's so warm, it's so soft, and it fits beautifully, as you would have seen by my video. And then when I finished that, I thought, I've had a few long-standing whips that I've put down for whatever reason. And I was in my sewing room, and I found the bag that had my frog in it. And my poor wee frog only had his body but no arms or legs. So last weekend, oh no, was it last weekend? It might have been Thursday, sort of towards the weekend and holidays. I did the legs and the arms of Mr. Frog, and then I decided he was a bit cold, so I knitted him the sweater pattern that comes with, or you can buy separately, in the leftovers from my St. Catherine's. So this is Pepe Ketua. So Pepe Ketua is the Māori name for a frog in New Zealand, in Aotearoa. So this is Pepe, short for Pepe Ketua, and I have put garden wire in his arms and legs, but I need to stitch the little, I just sort of coiled it. I need to stitch them in a little bit better so you can't see them. I'll show you what he looks like without his jumper on. I should be able to do that. Oh, he's naked. Poor little thing. Isn't he cute? This little squishy little face. And then of course when I'd ordered, I thought that that I'd started him sort of like late last year, but when I went into the bag of wool that I purchased to make him from Wool Warehouse, the date on that was July on the invoice. So I was like, oh yeah, I think I was sick and I had just cast on quite a few things, and I did the body real quick, and then I don't know why, I think I thought that the arms and legs would be a faff, but they weren't. They're actually really quick. So that's Pepe. And of course when I'd ordered the yarn for him, I had ordered enough to make the yellow frog as well. So I made the yellow frog. Let's pop that there, hopefully. Shaking the table. And she came out smaller, and I think it's because the wool is a finer wool. This is Drops Tweed, and this is Drops Sky she's made out of. So this is Petunia. Petunia was named by her auntie Angie, who is one of you lovely viewers and my friend, and she on Facebook she suggested Petunia. So this is Petunia naked. She hasn't had wires put into her yet, but she's a lot smaller than him. And it is definitely just the it's just the yarn, I think, because my tension hasn't changed. So funny. And I think that's just perfect, because I intended the second frog to be the girlfriend. So she's just a little bit smaller. And then I thought, well, she needs some clothes. So I sat down and I had actually spun, I had plied together the other day when I was doing some spinning. I plied together 2 bobbin ends that were just leftovers from previous projects, and I just thought I'd just make a little skate, a little ball of wool from that. And so I made her a little skirt. No pattern. I don't think you need a pattern for something like that. Just a little I-cord waistband where I picked up the stitches, rapidly increased, and so yeah, so she had that. And then I thought, oh, her shoulders still look a little bit cold. So I sat down with some of the, oh yeah, and these are all both got a strand of mohair with them as well, Drops mohair. So I made a little scarf, a little shawl, and so she just has that wrapped around her shoulders. My daughter told me that Mum, her boobs are shown. I said she's a frog, they don't have boobs. So that's Petunia, that's Pepe. Finally done after a year of sitting there. He's so patient. I'm just going to pop his clothes on because he's cold. And yeah, I am quite, what have I done? Quite stoked. Quite stoked with how they've both turned out. And Papa Wee, the old our kaumātua at work, he's the man, the gent that I made the hat for that said Papa on it. He was so taken with them, and because I brought them in to meet everybody, and he was so taken with them. He said at morning tea later on, he goes, oh, I love those. He said, but I've already got a hat off you, so I might have to make a frog for Papa Wee. Keep touching that table and it's making the phone wobble. I'm sorry. So those are my other 2 finished objects. Dunk, dunk. So I'll pop them down there now. Yeah. So then I've been working on my normal whips, but I thought I would devote some time to some of the things that have just been sitting around for a little while. So I have done some more work on my Battenberg blanket, which I'm doing in a DK, and this is what I've got so far. So I've just been kind of working across the bottom. So it's my arm span wide so far. And I've got quite a few of the coloured squares already crocheted up, so at the moment I'm just, when I get time, I just sit down and I'll do a white square and then you join as you go. So that's what we've got. Certainly going to be pretty when it's done. And then, you know, later on in my world, I might make one 4-ply scraps. I mean, to be fair, most of these are not scraps. I dyed them up on purpose for this purchase, this project. I lost my words. So that's the update on the Battenberg. And then I got stuck into the cozy memories. I decided that in the morning I don't tend to knit a lot when I first wake up in the morning. I think it's because, you know, I'm a bit tired and still waking up, and quite often I'll just sort of watch a knitting podcast or whatever. But plain knitting is actually good in the morning, so I thought I'd pull this out. I've put it in my big bowl, and I would just knit on it as you know, while I'm just resetting for the day. So I've added that square there, which is from sock yarn. I think it was the Broadway sock that I knit one of my pairs of socks in. And then I've done another 2 here, or this one here as well. So yeah, so that's the trimming the tree, which I used, that's a mama wooling one, which I used for part of my bated breath shawl. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying just having that in my little bowl. Oh, I hope the neighbours don't make too much noise. I just saw them go past with a digger. And then I've been taking this project here to work. I'm just about finished. This is my Nana's slippers. I'm just doing the toe of the second one. I ran out of wool, so I just had to find some other ones because this is just being made with scrap. Here's the first one, and I'll get those. I might even get that finished today, and then I'll get that sent off to her before winter's over. So that's Nana's TV slippers, just in this little cloth baggie, nothing flash. These are real quick updates. And then there's my vanilla sock, which I'm using my Chalgo shorty twist shorties. I'm still on the heel flat because I'm really struggling with these little needles. I have, someone suggested that I put one of the bigger ones on one, but I think I put it, at the time I was doing a purl row on the flat, and so I put it in my right hand, which was fine, but then when you go, once I start knitting in the round, I think I'll pop it on this one. So yeah, my hands have just been too sore to, I think when my hands, it's probably better for me to be using my Addy Crazy Trios, which still have my second vial of sands sock on that I've got to finish. So yeah, that's as far as I've got with that, but it is coming up really pretty, so that was the whole purpose. I wanted to see what that was going to look like. So I think I might buy another set of those Crazy Trios. I mean, one day I might be all right with these, but at the moment my hands are too sore. I've been having quite a lot of fibro symptoms, and yeah, the pain is real. The next whip is the Kuutar top or pullover, sweater, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, we're getting there. I've nearly finished the lace. I haven't done anything on this for maybe three days, but I usually just try and do 2 or 3 rounds after work. It's just too dark, and I've been quite tired, so working on something like that was sort of just a little bit too much for my head. But I do want to get that done because it is for my daughter, and I don't want it to be spring before she gets to wear it. And then our final whip, get this out before the neighbour decides to start his digger. So this is another languishing whip that I've had from about, I think I started it at the same time as Frog, and I just thought, once I got that St. Catherine's off, I thought, right, I'm going to deal with some of these things that have been hanging around for a while. And this is the Migla, it's Migla shawl by Inese Sang. I'll put her name on the screen. She's a Latvian designer, and this is one of her free patterns that she's done to say thank you to her. She's got gorgeous, oh, so gorgeous. So that's what it looks like. I can't spread it right out because now the needle's getting too small for it, but that's the right side there. It's a really easy pattern to memorize. When I retrieved it out of its deep depths of storage, I was up to here, and then I've done all that since Friday, and now I've just started on the first section of lace. And what I've done is I'm using, so these are skeins that I've had. So I purchased a whole lot of Malabrigo when I made the Frank Shawl, Hahi Locatelli's Frank Shawl last year. And when I got the Malabrigo, when it arrived, one of the skeins didn't quite match how I kind of thought it would when I looked at the picture in the catalogue. So, but that was okay. I was still going to go with it. And then someone was destashing on a Facebook page some dark harbour yarn, and the colour just looked perfect, and she was getting rid of 2 skeins. So Dark Harbour is a lady in Wellington here in New Zealand who just does the most divine colours. And so this is Shanty, and I think it might be a discontinued one. I could be wrong, but you could just go on her website and have a look. It's a merino silk. So I used that in place of this other colour in my Frank shawl, but I still had a good chunk left plus another full skein. It's my neighbour with the digger. Hopefully that's not too loud. I'll just try and get rid of the background noises. We're nearly done. And give me a minute. I'll just go and shut the kitchen windows. That helped a little bit. It helped a little bit. So anyway, as I was saying, I got that from a D-stash, so I used that in place of this one, but I still had this one full skein of Malabrigo left. And the reason why I got this was because in the picture you could see that it had gold tones and purple tones in it, which is what the colours were that I used in the Frank shawl. But it was just when I got this, I could see this other stuff was way better. So I decided that I would make a shawl using the leftover of the dark harbour yarn and the leftover of this. Now this is called it's the Malabrigo Machita in Araquita. So I'll put that back in the centre. Yeah, so the lace is going to be quite pretty, but obviously you can't see because I've only done like 4 rows of lace. And I literally spent all yesterday knitting on this in between naps. So yeah, it's just really addictive. Lovely twisted stitches, liner twisted stitches there. It's going to be so pretty. So all I'm going to do is use the greeny shades for the lace sections, and then the next section of this will be the purple again, and then and lace green, and then there's some lace around the bottom which I'll do in the green again. But if I can find a picture of her sample, I'll pop it up and you'll be able to see what it looks like. So this is what I've been waking up in the morning going, oh, I get to knit it. And that's what knitting's about, isn't it? And that, my dears, is pretty much it. I have been spinning, but I need to ply it, so it's not gone any further than the last time you saw. But the other thing I did was I had a little play. I bought a whole lot of polymer clay from Kmart just for a play around, and so I have had a little play with these because I thought I'd make stitch markers with them. They're very dodgy. I don't know if you can see. So there's one. Well, so there's a few hearts, and these kind of look like monstera leaves. Or even the New Zealand kawakawa. These ones look like little orchids or pansies, and I like it on both sides. These are just flowers. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't see any of these, and I'm just showing you stuff and they're not showing up. I did some leaves. And what else did I do? I did a whole lot of different things. I did these things. Oh yeah, I did this one too. I actually had a lot of fun. I just had some baking paper on the coffee table and I was just rolling them out and playing with them while TV was going. So I got that one. So I actually quite enjoyed that little play around. I thought I might try and make some earrings. But well, I'll show you when it's done. Yeah, so that's what that is. So that is about it for the crafty life. We've had another heavy rain event, as I mentioned. I don't know whether it would constitute, no, it would be a heavy rain, but it's just worse because we're so waterlogged. And at the moment we've got our house is in the middle of being painted, the exterior. So they've finished the roof pretty much. And because during the week we've had some beautiful weather, which I'm being really grateful for. But the arch goal is in the middle of being constructed as well, so we've got a couple of poles up now. We've got bits and pieces happening everywhere. We've got the guy's coming to finish the laundry hopefully this week. The new windows sitting in there ready to go. So it's all crazy, and we haven't been able to get the lawns mowed because the guy that mows our lawns uses a ride-on, and it's just too boggy. So yeah, that's that. The other fun thing that I got up to was my friend Kelly, Menzies of that Row Row on Cades podcast. She asked me if I would do an interview, like a chat, interview style chat, on as a Zoom recording for her podcast channel. And so we did that last Thursday week, so yeah, 10 days ago. And it was so much fun. I think I did post a link to it as a community post on my channel here. But go and check it out. It was just an absolute laugh. We both said at the beginning that we're actually quite nervous, even though we're just like, we talk all the time. But it just, yeah, it was like 8 o'clock at night, 8:15 at night for me. And it was about 9:15 in the morning for her. And, you know, I was like normally winding down to go to bed, but I was putting makeup on to make myself look halfway decent. And yeah, we had a really, really good laugh. Bloody talked some nonsense, and yeah. So if you want to have a look at that, go have a look. It was great. Excuse me. What else have I been up to? The chooks. Guys need a chook update. Well, the girls, I think it was, what are we now? So it was just over a week ago, the end of the school holidays, just before the weekend. Jess comes to me and says, Mum, one of your chooks is out. So I went to open up the little enclosure to let her back in, and the others come rushing over, and they were just like, oh, grass, because there's hardly any grass growing in their enclosure because of the weather and stuff. So I took pity on them, and I just said, oh, come on then, and I let them out, because I was going to eventually start letting them free range over certain periods of time. And so I shut the front gates, and they had a whale of a time. And they ate all the heads off my cyclamen, all the little flower heads, so I've had to put that out of their reach. So there's going to be certain areas that I might end up, what I might do, I've still got some chicken wire, I might just section off areas for them to free range in where they're not going to cause damage to the rest of the garden. However, since then, they have been getting themselves out every day, and all bar one. So I came home from work on Monday, and as I pull up the driveway, I always look to the side and just look at our front door, because in the little porches where the mailman leaves the parcels, so I was just checking to see if there was anything there. There were 3 chickens in the front porch looking at me. And the other one, poor little thing, poor little Judy, just still hanging out in her the enclosure, squawking and carrying on because her mates were gone. So I had to let her out and go, come on, because they listened to me, and just trotted and followed me to the front here where the others were hanging out, and reunited them. So I think they seemed to get out, but Evan said he was here the other day. He had to pull some guttering down for the painters that was rusted, and he said that they were all like on top of the fence. So I don't know whether it's too high for them to jump, so I think they're flying up, which is annoying because I actually clipped all of their wings. I clipped one wing on each bird when I got them, so unless their wings, the feathers have grown back, I don't know. It's like, you little buggers. But I think what they're doing is they're getting into the tree, because the tree's not that high, and then hopping from the tree to the fence and then down. I mean, they haven't escaped the property, to be fair, but it's still a worry because we've got a busy road and I wouldn't want them to get squashed. Yeah. And you know, pretty soon I'm going to have new garden growth and things like that coming up, and I don't want them to be eating all my bits and pieces. Oh, they do make me laugh though. So anyway, I'm going to let you go. I haven't even had to blow my nose, which is amazing. And I have a tutu and a play and get this video uploaded, and might make myself a nice cup of tea and have a little sit down now that I've done the housework and have a little rest. So I'm going to catch you next time, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. But you know, apparently it works. If you tell people, they do it. So there you go. Okay, I think that's it. Ka kite.